maybe they asked for money for the essentials, but in reality, you are giving the money for the luxuries.
Yeah, and that makes me feel icky.
Yeah.
So essentially, like I'm funding your entertainment, lah.
Yeah.
Right?
And if they bought something, let's say a bit more expensive, a bit more luxurious, I would feel like, why are you doing that? I know it's bad. I mean, it's almost to an extent like, I don't want to see you enjoying your life too much if you need to borrow money.
But it's not about that,
Yeah.
right? It's not about that.
If let's say 500 ringgit, I will give it to them. And if they don't pay it back, then to me, 500 ringgit is not a big cost to understand like what kind of person that is, right?
I mean, if your finances are looking really tight, honestly, you are also in no position to lend money.
If that person blocked me, it would justify my decision not to lend it to
Yeah,
you. Like,
absolutely.
what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of The Money Goal. Today I have Yasmin with me. Hello, Yasmin.
Hey, hello.
Welcome back.
Thanks for having me back.
Okay, what do you have today? I hope it's not something bad.
Not necessarily bad, but I think
Okay.
it's a bit awkward.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was hoping to talk to you about what to do when and or if a family or a friend asks to borrow money.
Okay.
Um
You just run away and end the relationship, right?
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Yeah, I've had a few instances whereby someone's, borrowed money from me and I never saw it again.
Okay.
And I
Very
think that's
common.
really, really awkward. Yeah. But like how do you, I guess, like spot red flags? Like, because obviously, people who borrow money for the most part they will return it, right? Or rather because you lend money to people that you trust.
Yep.
So you kind of hope that you see it again. But like in certain cases you don't see it again.
Yep.
So like are there certain like red flags, I guess, we should be looking out for?
Okay, so I don't have any red flags because I haven't lent out a lot of money. I've only lent out to family, that's it, for like a very temporary thing.
Right.
I don't have any red flags because whenever I lend money, it's with the assumption that I'm not getting it back.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, maybe immediate family members, I would lend them money and I do expect to get it back. Like, I know I'll get
Oh,
it back.
interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is like immediate family members. I
Right.
know, like, I'm just trying to withdraw some money from a money market fund or something. I just need some cash now. I know they'll give it to me back. But whenever I'm thinking about it from a more extended family or from a friend perspective, I expect not to get it back. So there are no red flags. It's just a matter of, am I willing to give you this amount of money or not? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because like I have that same mindset. I'm the kind of person, like, usually, like, when I lend someone money, I immediately have the assumption of it's okay if, like,
They don't pay it back.
yeah, I don't get it back, and that's totally fine. But what starts to irk me is when someone like constantly asks for money and you see them doing other things with
Yep.
with the money, the little money that they have. So it's like, how are you prioritizing your life right now that you
Yeah.
can't pay for this and you need to borrow money from me for this, but then like you can go out and do like all that?
Yeah, I know. I think I've read a lot of these stories as well. Okay, so it's never happened to me, but I've read stories of this where someone lent a friend money and then they ask for the money back and they're like, oh, I don't have the money to pay you back now. And then they see basically posts of them going on holidays and stuff like that, which I guess is a bit weird, right? Like, I feel like, okay, if I were to borrow money one day, that would be number one priority. Like, I would pay it back for sure. I feel like it's so weird to owe people money, especially friends, right? If you owe the
it's so
bank money, I mean, that's
awkward.
a different thing. You sort it out of the bank, whatever. But with friends, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's so awkward. Like, yeah, I've had a few situations where I've lent money to people and then like, on their Instagram story, like I see them, out for like lunch, out for dinner,
Yep.
that kind of stuff. And the money that I was lending them was supposedly for essentials. So I'm not gonna go into too much details, but I've never confronted any of these people before.
Yeah.
It's just that I know for like, the future, I don't lend them any more
Yeah.
money because like it makes me feel like, I don't know, like I felt like I was used, I guess. And like it makes me question, obviously, like how were you able to go do A, B, C, D, E,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't like, you know,
Pay for
tackle
that.
F, G, and H,
Yeah.
which if comparing like the two, right? Like the stuff that I was lending the money for were the essentials.
The basics.
Yeah, like the basics. But then the other stuff that they were doing, it was literally just for like entertainment purposes,
yeah.
lifestyle stuff.
I mean, honestly, I guess in this scenario, maybe they asked for money for the essentials, but in reality, you are giving the money for the luxuries.
Yeah, and that makes me feel icky.
Yeah,
It's like, how is it that like I'm so essentially like I'm funding your entertainment lah,
Yeah,
right?
You're more luxurious lifestyle.
Yeah.
And that sucks even more considering you don't spend that much money yourself.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
It makes it
exactly.
even worse, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, maybe they get accustomed to a certain lifestyle. Maybe, you know, they have a variable income and stuff. They get accustomed to a certain lifestyle. And when that income is no longer there, they just can't give it up. So maybe for your friend, eating out at nice places is a necessity.
I mean, I've also had a situation where I was lending money to this like one person.
Okay. It seems
Again,
like you lend money a lot.
yeah.
So if anyone needs a loan,
I am essentially a red flag. I'm part of the problem because I allow it to happen to myself.
you enable it.
Yes, I do enable it. So I also have like this one situation where okay, this person like I'm not in contact with them anymore. I'm not friends with them anymore. But like a couple of years back, I was lending them quite a bit because I was always like I always used to pick up their phone calls and they would, they would say to me like, "Oh, I'm really struggling to put food on the table. Like, all my money is like going towards my education, and even then, like, I'm really struggling to like afford my education." And like, I used to feel really sorry, lah, right? When you hear
Yep.
stories like that, like naturally you feel really bad and you want to help wherever you can because
Yep.
you care. But then like it started getting really, really sus because again, I used to see this person also like going out for like their own entertainment. And eventually after I cut them off, I started hearing stories from actually like other people around this person saying that essentially this person would guilt trip them
Into
with the
lending.
exact same thing. And some of them have even gone so far as to like literally like fly this person out because they used to like complain about how sad and like depressed they were.
Yeah.
And like they used to say like, "Oh my god, all my friends are like overseas, like I wish that I was with them and I'd be so much happier if I was with them." So like in a way like they got scammed even more than I did, but like it was crazy to see like the network of like pity he had built for
It's a
for
full-time job
himself.
for him, probably.
Literally, I feel like it's so I don't know. And the thing is like this person I felt never helped themselves either. So this person never had like a part-time job. This person literally just like sat at home, did absolutely nothing to like help his situation. And again, he would prioritize really strange things over, something like putting food on the table.
Yeah.
So
I feel like there's one thing that I cannot do. I don't know if it's like a bad thing, but I feel like if someone wanted to borrow money from me, my expectation is that they're really just spending on the necessities. And if they bought something, let's say a bit more expensive, a bit more luxurious, I would feel like, why are you doing that? I know it's bad. I mean, it's almost to an extent like, I don't want to see you enjoying your life too much if you need to borrow money.
But it's not about that,
Yeah.
right? It's not about that. It's just that like, especially if we're like lending that money and you want to know that that money is actually going towards something that's essential.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Right? So I guess we've like shared a few stories now. Like, how do we go about it? Because it's so awkward. So like, I don't know, how have you gone about it? Because for me, because it's awkward,
Yep.
I'd rather have no confrontation. If I see the money, I see the money. If I
Yeah,
don't see the
yeah,
money,
yeah.
then whatever, lah,
Yeah.
then at least like I know in the future I just don't
Yeah.
lend any money.
I find it super awkward to ask for money back as well.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I don't want to lend money, because I don't want to ask for it back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, a lot smaller scale, but for example, even when we go out to eat with friends at the mamak, let's say, right, and then I pay for the bill first, usually I'll just take a picture of the receipt, send it to everyone, and I don't ask for it. Like
Yeah.
if you're gonna pay me, you pay me. If you don't pay me, then I mean, like, that's a bit weird, but
Yeah.
whatever, yeah. So I don't like to ask for money back as well. So I tend not to lend money. Thankfully, I haven't had a lot of requests. So a lot of my family and friends, I think, are doing pretty all right as well. But one thing that I've always thought about, but I've never done before because the situation just never arise. But it's always in my mind where if, let's say, a close family member or close friend wanted to borrow money, and it's not like a huge amount, let's say a few hundred ringgit, I'm thinking that I would do it. I would just give it to them. Assuming that I will never get the money back, of course. So if I'm struggling, I wouldn't give it up. But if let's say 500 ringgit, I will give it to them. And if they don't pay it back, then to me, 500 ringgit is not a big cost to understand like what kind of person that is, right? Rather than prolonging the relationship
Yeah.
over years and decades and
Yeah.
stuff, and then eventually things just start. At least early on, if you can't repay 500 ringgit, I mean, that's a show of character to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've always thought about that, but I mean, the situation just never came yet. I
Right.
will try it one day though.
Right. Yeah, I mean, so far, yeah, I've been exactly like you as well. Like I've really just like left it. Like I will send a receipt or like whatever, and like yeah, if the person pays me back, then like they pay me back. If not, then they don't.
Yeah.
But I think what you're saying is true as well. Because I mean, there are people as well who, they're okay to like pester, right? Every week they'll be like, hey, like,
Yeah.
are you gonna send me the money?
exactly.
That kind of thing. There are people who are like that, and like power to you. I think we feel a bit more awkward about it.
Yeah.
And at the same time, like I understand that it's coming from like a place of privilege. It's because we also have that, if we're lending that money, I think we understand that we do have that money to lend,
Yeah.
right? If you're looking, I mean, if your finances are looking really tight, honestly, you are also in no position to lend money.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think that's also why maybe some people do pester. It's maybe because they end up lending money that they actually need
Need it.
like
Yeah.
day. Sometimes if it's, especially, okay, friends aside, maybe if it's like family, that's I feel like even harder because like it's family, right? So like how do you almost like say no, because then it becomes like a guilt trippy thing, right?
Yeah,
Like, oh, you
yeah,
don't want to
yeah.
help like your family, like we've done so much for you, or like whatever,
yeah,
lah,
yeah.
right? So
Yeah, I was actually gonna say the exact same thing. I acknowledge that I think both of us would be probably a bit more comfortable financially,
yeah,
that we can afford to lose that money. But
Yeah.
yeah, like you said, if you guys really need that cash,
yeah,
I know that a lot of people, a lot of Malaysians especially, are a lot more kind-hearted, right? Like you want to help
We're a
other
bit more
people out.
generous,
Yeah, it's a lot more. We feel like we're a collective, we're a
Yeah.
community, so I want to help people out. But I mean, as always with finances, I always say this: if you are extremely tight, if you cannot afford not having this, it's better to just say no. Right? There's no point losing money and the friendship. You may as well just lose the friendship, I think.
I think so too. Yeah, no, I think so
Right.
too. And I think like what you said as well, I totally agree. Like if you lend this like big amount and they don't get it back, like the price you essentially have to pay to figure out that like
What
that
kind of
friendship
person
is
they are.
not worth
Yeah.
it and what kind of character that they are.
Yep.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
that's the price you have to pay.
And I actually have a story as well. So I feel like some people who borrow money or who are looking to borrow money, it's a bit weird. Okay, so I have this story where a friend, basically a very distant relative, right, asked for some money, like $1,000 or something to fix their car and stuff. And when my friend didn't want to give the money, like says, "Oh, sorry, I'm a bit tight right now. I cannot give you that 1,000 ringgit." The relative just blocked her. And I was like,
That's crazy.
yeah, I mean, okay. First of all, if that person blocked me, it would justify my decision not to lend it to
Yeah,
you. Like,
absolutely.
because I think some people are like this, where they really just see you as a money,
bank.
a bank account basically. And I think it's especially true if you grew up in a less fortunate sort of background where a lot of family members are not doing so well off, and then you are the one who does well. I think it's very common for people to start going towards you. And I know I've seen this a lot actually. People who grew up in kampongs and stuff like that, and then they, out of all their siblings, are doing the best. They are the ones that get pressured the most to
Yes.
lend money, or
Yeah.
in this sense, actually give money, because, I mean,
Yeah, you're not
the
lending.
the lending, you'll never see the money again. Yeah, and it's tough for these people. But if you can afford it, If you really love your family, if these are people that you really care about, then yeah, by all means. But not at the expense of yourself.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I think it is okay to say no,
I think so.
yeah, if you're ever in like a financial situation whereby like you just can't. If you can't, then you can't, um there's really no harm in like saying no and like protecting your finances, even if it's like even if that request is coming from family.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like I know what you mean. Like there's
Yeah.
that like pressure, I suppose.
Yeah.
And I think like I do know like a few people who's maybe, parents or just like, siblings aren't doing as well as them. So essentially, for like lack of a better word, they essentially become like a cash cow.
Yeah.
In that there's like that pressure to provide and um
It's
to
uplift the entire
yeah,
family.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Which
yeah.
like is a huge responsibility, and like I absolutely, I respect that, and I think that's something that's really common like in our society. But um finances, it has its like peaks, and it's
Exactly. Yeah, you have
so
to protect
yeah,
yourself,
like
your future and
your
stuff.
finances are never gonna be like, I guess that's just being realistic, right? Like your finances aren't just gonna, it's not like on an uphill trajectory, right? Like you'll have
Yeah.
moments where like you will have dips and stuff like that, and in moments like that, I think like you just have to, I guess, acknowledge that. And so hopefully you have family members or friends who understand that as well when you do say no. But if they don't understand that, again, like you said, it's a reflection of their character rather
Yeah.
than a reflection of you.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the main takeaway from this. Like you said, it's okay to say no
Mm-hmm.
if you can't afford it. And yeah, if
Yeah.
people are not happy about that, then honestly, like what kind of relationship is that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If someone asked me and I said no and they're like, it's okay, I understand, then to me, okay, this is a real friend. Maybe in the future I'll think about if I can help you, I will help you out, right?
Yeah.
But if they block me on WhatsApp, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I know who you are.
Alrighty, let's move on to the first story that I've got.
Okay.
Okay, so I had a friend who always said, "Can you cover first? I'll transfer later."
Mhm.
Classic line,
Yeah.
classic line. The money never came. At first, I stayed quiet to avoid awkwardness, but over time, I started dreading hanging out. Eventually, I brought it up directly, and guess what? They genuinely didn't realize how often they were doing it. It changed our dynamic for the better. Would you confront a friend who constantly forgets to pay you back, or just let it slide? That's really hard.
I feel like I can't let it slide forever though.
Yeah, I think so. But again, like I think it's so awkward to have that conversation. Do you know what I mean? Because like
Yeah.
you kind of hope that they realize
Yeah.
it before you say anything.
So the way I would do it is the next time I'd be like, oh, can you pay first? Like, or I'd be like, oh, actually for the last round, have you paid? Or if you haven't, then maybe you just pay for this round. So it's not a, hey, where's my money, man? Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
more subtle way of doing it, I guess. That's what I would do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But man, okay, I think this is super tough. Again, like, I feel like I wouldn't want to hang out with this kind of people. If the person told me upfront, like, I don't think I can go there because I can't afford it,
Yeah.
then I can be like, okay, you know what, it's fine. I'll buy for you. But I don't like people who go out knowing they can't afford it and then
Yeah.
just ghost you when the bill
Yeah.
comes. Yeah, I think that's
Yeah. I think what's also really dangerous is that you then start assuming that like that one particular friend can't afford it every single time, and so you cover it every single time. So that's why I think it's worth, yeah, maybe saying something,
Yeah.
right?
speaking from experience.
No, absolutely not. But like I think, yeah, because once you start assuming that like that person can cover it, then they start getting comfortable with the fact that you're letting it slide. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that in itself is like a really dangerous cycle. So I think a conversation is like worth having. It's just that that's not a conversation or a confrontation that I'm willing to have if you ask me. But that is the right thing to do, lah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, okay, so last story. My brother once asked me for a big loan. I didn't have the heart to say no, even though it emptied my savings. He never paid me back, and it created tension for years. I learned the hard way that helping family should never put you in financial danger. When family asks for money, do you feel obligated to say yes, even if it hurts your own finances? I mean,
For me, no.
we just talked about this,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Actually, having said, I mean, now that you talk about this, I guess there are some red flags. I guess if you know that your family member is someone who is financially responsible and they're just waiting for a payment or something, then yeah, I would. But if you know that your family member is someone who if they don't have a job, how are they going to pay you back, right?
Mm.
Just for example, or if they have a history of borrowing money and not paying it back, then yeah. And then I've seen a lot of this in Malaysia. I think it's quite sad. Not just borrowing money, but being a guarantor as well. Like people who don't have stable incomes, they want to buy a car, and like, can you be my guarantor? People say yes, family members obviously, and then end of the day, now you're stuck with the loan.
Yeah.
Which I think
Yeah.
I know, to me, okay, this is my view. I know different people are different, but to me, family is family, but I cannot sacrifice sort of my financial position and my future for family.
Yeah, I think again, like in our culture and in our society, like we talked about earlier, like we have the sense of like community, and like, I think as a people, like we are like generosity is such a huge part
Yep.
of like our culture, right? But like I think at some point, like something has to give.
Yep.
Like again, what we were talking about earlier, which is like, one family member essentially being burdened by being like the delegated like cash cow.
Everyone.
Yeah, for everybody. I think it's a huge burden to bear. And unfortunately a lot of families have, I mean, you hear stories, right, of like families literally breaking apart because of, situations like this. I myself, I have heard of tons of stories of like family members fighting because of money, which is
Yep.
such a shame.
Yeah.
It's so sad. It's so sad that it's over something, honestly, I would say at something as trivial as borrowing money,
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think yes, as a family member, I think it's okay to, of course, like ask for help. Yes, they are your family. But I think at the same time, like understand that there are certain boundaries that you have to, respect. And then as the person who is like lending the money or giving the money, I guess, make sure that you're like in a good position, like financially, before you give it lah, right?
Yeah. I guess to wrap it all up, I would say, as the lender, as a person giving the money, like Yasmin just said, only give up money if you're in a comfortable position financially, and only give up money that you can assume that money is no longer yours. If you can do that comfortably, then by all means, if you want to do it. Don't be afraid to say no, right? I think if you really can't afford it, just say no. It's better. I think this is actually the perfect quote I said earlier. If you're gonna lose a relationship anyway, it's better to just lose the relationship rather than lose the relationship and money. Yeah, so I think that is the important thing. Yeah. Cool. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode, and Yasmin, I hope you don't lose too much money lending friends anymore. You have too many stories.
I have too many stories. I can't even go into detail, but I have way too many.
I hope you guys enjoy Yasmin's story and what we talked about today. See you guys in the next one.
All right.